Hello, everybody out there, and welcome to another episode of the Talk That Talk Show with me, Barry Holmes. And here we are for episode 230 of the Talk That Talk Show. And I'm just so happy. We had such a great week. I think the one thing that I wanted to definitely get across to people and kind of emphasize, which is kind of what made my week so good, is that I want everybody to understand that you must embrace change. I think that a lot of times people assume that change is negative and they're used to their same routines and they like to do the same things, and sometimes it's good to change it up and do a different thing. And I think that for me, I definitely have enjoyed the things that I've been able to do professionally over the last couple of years. Being able to work at the high school has been something that has helped not only the kids, but it's helped me to be able to have kids that look up to you and look to you for guidance. It's like the ultimate responsibility. Not everybody can be a leader, and not everybody can, lead people in the right direction. And I just try to let my core values, or the things that have been instilled, within me, both family-wise and professionally, to just get, people to understand that there's a lot bigger things out there, and sometimes, you just have to be receptive to them. And for me, I know at first, being at the high school has been good, but at times you want a little bit more. I know that, being a substitute teacher is my ceiling there. There's no more room for growth for me. And I got to give a big time shout out, to my girlfriend for literally, always pushing me to want more. And I think that it's important to have people like that around you in your life, because we need that affirmation to proceed on. And she had sent me a description for a job, and I looked at it, and really I was like, what? I could definitely see myself doing this. And the job was for a bud tender at a dispensary. And at first, from people that were close to me, I didn't exactly get the 100% approval and support. But I think that, and this is my ultimate point as well too, is that at the end of the day, you have to live your life. You have to be the person to wake up and motivate yourself to get out of bed to go live that day. And aside from the stigmas or anything from working at a dispensary, I just truly wanted to do something that would make me happy, and of course, make my pockets happy. We always talk about working smarter and not harder. And I think for me, to be at a place in the YMCA where I gave a lot of my time, I gave a lot of my energy, and really just tried to make those students and those kids that were involved, give them the best opportunity they had at the YMCA. So then when I had my accident, and to feel so unsupported to where, when you come back and they tell you don't have a job, that was a pretty shitty feeling, man. And, I think that a lot of things happen for a reason, and to be able to, come from losing your second job where you're only making $15 an hour to then getting a much better opportunity where you're doing something that you truly enjoy and you're making a little bit more money out of it. It's something that, had I listened to certain people, or had I not, stood on my own 10 toes, I really might not be at this position. I might not have the opportunity at growth, had the position or the opportunity to train people at work. Well, it was my second day, so to showcase my leadership skills and to, do things like that. So I think that above all, amidst what other people think, you have to, look within yourself and see, is the decision that you're making something that you truly want to do? You can't live your life for someone else. And I think that sometimes we get in the idea of stopping ourselves from doing what we truly want because of the thoughts of other people. And had I listened to other people this week, I might not have been at the Knicks game, on opening night. But, again, you have to be able to do things that you want to do and also do them, amidst whatever other people think. And, from going to that game, I had one of the best times in my life. Me and Doc had never been to a season opener, let alone at the Knicks, and, had I not taken advantage of that opportunity, or had we not pursued that, we might not have gotten a chance to, have an experience that we'll have for the rest of our lives. So, I think that it's super important to embrace change, and at the same time, stand on your own 10 toes and make decisions for your own life, man. You have to do things that you want to do and not do them, because you're worried about the approval of somebody else. I remember, I think my mom, she had suggested a job to me, and I appreciate her so much. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I told her when I declined this opportunity was that I have to live and do this every day. Sure, on the paper, it says you could get this and that, but that doesn't entail what you have to do throughout the day to live. And I think that she understood that where I was coming from, and I think that at times you can't be afraid to speak your mind. And from there, I've had some of the best relationships and conversations with my mom and my dad, just being honest, just speaking my mind. So a lot of the things that I feel that have come my way, have come from me putting forth the effort and just trying to be the best version of myself. And I think that having people around you like my girlfriend, like my parents, like my siblings, my friends, people that are constantly pushing me to be the best version of myself. That's why I carry myself the way I do, because I have so many people that truly hold me to a high standard and mean the world to me. So every time I put my shoes on, anytime I put on some Talk That Talk, or just step out of the house, I feel like I have everybody that I truly care about. They have I have the responsibility to them to be the best version of myself, because when I'm not there, my brother's talking super highly of me. My dad's talking super highly of me. My boy TK, he'll be talking super highly of me, and I do the same for them. So I feel like, again, to have the right people around you, it means all the world, man. And I wouldn't be in this position right now had it not been for my girlfriend to give me a job opportunity at the high school, to not send me job descriptions. I've been in situations where people, look down on the things that I had done. Oh, you don't make this amount of money. That's not as important as my job. I've never been meant to felt that way through my girlfriend now. And, I think that having people, like I said, around you that build you up and put you in a position to where you get the opportunity, you don't fumble the ball. So I just want to thank everybody, out here, Ish, Pops, Tarik, Doc, TK, Tori, Mom, Dad, everybody that literally is in my corner, rooting for me. I had my sister, who literally had a whole congratulations thing and, put some champagne out there, and she says, "Hope you're paying attention. The plates are green for the weed." And I was like, "Tori, it's not weed anymore. It's called product." You know what I'm saying? So it's funny, and at the same time, very seriously, it just means a lot to me to have people that want to make things special for me. And not a lot of people have that in their lives. So I just feel very blessed, man. And this step forward was not just for me, it was for everybody that believes in me. And on that note, I got to bring in somebody that does believe in me. Somebody that has become my betting partner, not only just in betting, not only just in bowling, but in life, man. This guy is someone that you should tell if he puts in a ticket. Everybody give it up for the Locksmith. What's good, TK?
Good, brother. How you feeling?
Man, thank you for extending your home to us, man, and celebrating with us, man. But, I know what we talked about before we got on the air and how we really wanted to, make something big with this episode. And for the people that don't know, we've been on kind of a heater, man. So can you kind of talk a little bit about, what, we've been able to accomplish with this sports betting?
Yeah, I mean, big shout out to you, first of all. You've been on an absolute heater, and this is not the first time you've been on a heater. Earlier in the summertime, I believe you were on like an 11-day streak.
Yeah.
Like that. It was something crazy. I think you're on day 9, about to be day 10.
Day 10.
Once we cashed today.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, everything that you've kind of just mentioned leading up into this, having people that, kind of believe in you and just being somebody you can rely on and be like, yo, what do you think about this ticket? Like, give me your true thoughts. And, it helps put something together that, it may not be something like a 20-leg, win $1 million, but, we're cashing consistently.
Facts. And I think that a lot of times, and I had, I love Sterling, I love playing Call of Duty with him, but, when I told him, hey, we're up, over 2K, his first response was, oh, that's not that much. Come see me when you're at 100K. So, that stigma of you have to have these incredible hits, I think is one of the biggest farces when you talk about sports betting. So can you talk about what your strategy is coming into these sports betting?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I can kind of start from inception. Once I first started sports betting, I was down in Maryland, so I actually had to drive to the casino to place the bets. I couldn't do it on my phone. But at first, I'm creating these like 10, 15 leg parlays and putting like $5-10 to win those 20,000, 30, 50, trying to go for the home run ball. But I've noticed, I'm always 2-3 legs shy. So, and this is definitely something, kudos to you again as well, that we've talked about and we've implemented in our betting strategy, is just to reduce the number of legs that are on our parlays or our tickets in general and increase the wager amount. So, we're betting 2-3 legs, 4 legs at the most really, and then putting the $25, $50 up, $100 in some occasions when we do our collabs, and, settling for the 2 bands opposed to the $100,000 long ball that probably won't hit.
Facts. But what we did talk about as well too is the importance of adding in those long ball tickets. I think that one of the greatest feelings is, when you put in that ticket, it may not hit, but it's very possible. Right. And, big shout out to Jeff. He's somebody that is always putting in these parlays that definitely have a chance. I mean, he was an assist away or something away from like 13K or something. So, I mean, it's very possible. And I think that it's important for you to put those long shots in there. But like TK said, I think we've also implemented the strategy of not relying solely on the long ball or, the long parlay, but adding it as something in there, what I'm saying, mixing it in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guys that put the wagers up, the plus 100, plus 200, they create those odds for a reason. They're doable odds. It's not like they're impossible. I mean, we see it every day. People hit on crazy parlays, crazy things that nobody would expect. So they're there for a reason, and they're there to be investigated and then, appropriately bet on.
Facts. And I think that, one of the things that we like to look for, in odds, at least for me, is, that plus money. And I think that at times, we've all been there where, we are afraid of the plus money. And I think that you have to, like TK said, you have to understand that these things happen every single day. I'll give you a perfect example. Day 1. I was just thinking about it, and Wembanyama was somebody I kept seeing on the lines. I kept seeing, points, rebounds, assists. He's been tailored as this ultimate do-it-all guy. And I think that when I came into day 1, I thought, wow, here's a guy who's got the wingspan up we've never seen before. I think this guy can get 2 steals, And when I looked at it, I saw the odds were plus 300. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of enticing, know? So I think for me, I like to look for the things that may not be surface level, right? So when you're looking at a line, TK, and we'll use basketball for example, because that's what's in season right now. What are some things that you are looking for right now in a basketball line?
Yeah, most definitely. First of all, I'm looking up consistency. How consistent is this player? Are they consistently grabbing their 8+ rebounds or 10+ rebounds? Are they consistently getting up enough shots to score that 20+? And then another thing that I'm honestly looking at is matchups. Say for example, you got the Bucks against the Memphis Grizzlies. I know Dame is going to get his buckets, but at the same point, you got a defending, defensive MVP Marcus Smart playing for the Grizzlies. So you might want to step down a little bit. So looking up key matchups and stuff like that, even size advantages. Somebody like Wembanyama, I mean, me personally, I'm always going to want to take his rebound props just because the guy's 7'4".
Yeah,
right?
you got a board.
He's got to grab boards. So, I look up stuff like that, like size matchups, player personnel, stuff like that.
And I think one of the things also, TK, when we talk about sports betting, and I wanted to kind of use this episode again to, inform people, because for the vast majority of people, when I talk to them about it, you would be surprised how uninformed people are. And one of the biggest things that has been my, help on this heater that I'm on hopefully day 10, but the profit boost. I can tell you how many times people are putting in tickets without utilizing the profit boost. I think every game during this the streak in the MLB postseason, I've used that 30% profit boost. So can you tell people, TK, what the importance to you of a profit boost is, and what do you like to use with your profit boost?
Yeah, absolutely. So the benefit of the profit boost is simple. I mean, you're taking whatever your current odds are, and you're just getting that boost, whether it be the 30% that they're always throwing out, 50, or even 100% that we've seen recently. And things that I'm looking for are those safer bets, so to say, the things that you can really rely on, because they may be at minus 400, and for those that don't know, you got to bet 400 to win 100 when we're talking about those odds. So if you take the minus 400s, which are most likely to happen, and use that profit boost, potentially could turn your minus 400 into a minus 200, which are a lot better odds depending on how you're betting.
And I think that what I've I've done it in a couple different ways. But I have done the strategy, most importantly on the Ohio State game last time. But I think I flipped the spread. It was supposed to be plus 1.5. I think I flipped it to minus 1.5 or something like that. And that wound up being, like you said, a minus 110. But with that profit boost, now it's in plus money.
Yep.
So what I chose to do was I chose to use the max wager on that. And when it hit, that was an easy $100. You know what I'm saying? So I think that when you use these profit boosts, you can use it in the opportunity, like TK said, to where you can set up a parlay of higher odds things to then switch it to the plus money, or like I've done, you can utilize a straight bet strategy where you take one line that you think is like really, really good, that's possible, put that profit boost up, and don't be afraid to put the money up. So can you tell us, TK, why it is important to put the money up? And what do we mean by that?
So, I mean, very cliche and all, but I mean, scared money doesn't make money. I mean, there's been plenty of times where, just playing around with some parlays when I put $1 or $2 on and mess around and win 10, 15 bucks. What if you put that 10 or 20 or even $50 up? That definitely puts more money into your pocket. So, yeah.
I would definitely say that is 100% correct, TK. And most importantly, what I also do want to extend to people and let people know when we're talking about this, responsibility is the number one key when it comes to this. I think a big thing is setting limits for yourself. I know for me personally, I have like a $30 limit. I know each day I can put $30 worth of bets. And if I don't hit on that, maybe I take a break or two. But I think what a lot of people get in the notion of is chasing, right? So can you explain to them, TK, what we mean by chasing the bet?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I've fallen victim to this plenty of times, just chasing after those odds that are like almost too good to be true, and then you're willing to spend a little bit more on it. And it goes back to your comment you just made, being responsible when it comes to gambling. If you're consistently chasing those, it's right there bets, and they're not covering, you're going to end up in a deficit.
And I think that another strategy which we've utilized, and we see this all the time. I actually call this the Jeffrey method. Big shout out to Jeff. But when you have a bad beat, right? So something in like the situation where, I think, for example, right, Tyler Hero, I hate to call it, right? We were one assist away from $1,000. One assist away, right? And oddly enough, the one thing that we like to do when you always, miss on a bet very closely, you have to play that line the next day. And I'll give you a perfect example too. Brian Scholar said to me straight up, I think that this guy, Ovechkin, is going to score. He put the money up. He did not score. And I told him straight up, I was like, yo, you got to play this line again. Play it again. Sure enough, he put more money on the next day, and he doubled his money. So do you have any situations like that, TK, where you've done that?
Absolutely. I can just think back to the, before the MLB postseason started, the Atlanta Braves. Pretty much any time we had them, we would always take their minus, so minus 1.5. So basically for them to win by 2 or more. And whenever they wouldn't cover, the next day, mash, exactly. That's the key word we would use. We just got to mash those lines, and more often than not, it covered.
Max.
Good teams like that don't normally lose twice in a row.
And that's a good point. I think a lot of times when we're looking at research, you have to also understand what it is that you're looking at. That loss back in February might have not had the same amount of players or things like that, and somebody might have been injured. You might have a new player who's surging. So when you're doing the research, I think it's also good, again, to look at a lot of different things into account. And I mean, the greatest time, TK, had to be us in Vegas when we actually, pretty much earned these jerseys, man. Come on. Can you tell pretty much people about this jersey and what it means to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, exactly what you said. When we were out in Vegas and we were poolside at Stadium Swim, shout out Circa, we just had a great time. I remember you had got there a few hours earlier, and then as soon as I got there, I looked at my ticket and I was like, yo, I can't even go in yet. I got to sweat this out. And then you looked at your ticket and you was like, yo, I just cashed.
Ooh.
So it's really just like Circa Stadium Swim was just like the epitome of sports betting for us when we were out there. It was nothing but great vibes, great weather. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it, but the broadcasting system that they have with all the TVs and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it was just a magnificent time. Just like I said, great vibes. That's really what this jersey means, and money, obviously.
Yeah,
making the bread, man, making the bread.
I think that we've kind of pulled from different people. I think another great thing, I can't, gotta keep shouting out Jeff here, but one of the best ideas that he had was setting up this Discord for us. And my next key step in making money here, guys, is utilize your resources. So can you say, tell them, TK, how you kind of utilize your resources and, what the Discord is for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So our Discord, essentially, we have, our main cappers, and these are the individuals that pretty much post and hit the most, and the owners of the Discord. So it's me, Barry, Jeff, Tori's in there. We had a few others, but they haven't been holding up their bargain, so they got the boot. But the Discord, and again, like Barry said, big shout out to Jeff, because he's implemented some AI features that are shooting out these lineups, these injury updates, these statistics, and it's all there for you to use. I remember probably week 3 of the NFL season, I put a 3-leg parlay together, $50 to win like $700, and I got that ticket from the AI Discord. So, I mean, just having the Discord there and having all the information just spit out to you, essentially, it's major, and it cuts down on so much research. Not that I'm not doing it, but it just saves me a lot of time too.
Facts. And I mean, again, to be able to see these things, not everybody has access to a Discord, right? And, I'm very thankful to Jeff, big shout out to him for setting that up for us. But, again, outside of the Discord, what I've kind of done is, I know my boy Timmy Hugel, big shout out to him. He'll love this one. I pulled up in his shop literally to go pick up some shirts and, to drop off to people. And we're talking, and I was like, yo, how, I know you're a Rangers fan, but how often are you watching these games? Barry, I haven't missed a single game. So I'm like, I gotta tap in, give me some knowledge, man. What's up? And he told me straight up, he's like, yo, Panarin that guy has been killing it for us, yo. And Chris Kreider, he's always good for a goal right around the goal for like a slam dunk, pretty much rebound. And I took that information. I could have just put it in my pocket and did nothing with it, but I put the money up. I put $20, I put $30, and I turned that into $200, right? So again, people have the answers for you too. It's just up to you to ask the right questions, And I think that someone like a Tim, is great knowledge for Rangers. I think it's great to have somebody like Pops, who's a diehard Knicks fan. Just asking him a question and his response. Let me go see what the line looks like for that. So I think that outside of just ESPN, Discords, the people around us, the people that watch the sports that we are betting on, are definitely good resources to use as well. And I know that would be my good tip, but I know we kind of talked a little bit, but what is a TK tip? What is a locksmith tip? What's something that you kind of utilize to put you to that capper status?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is gonna sound super cliche, but just going with the gut feeling. I know last night I could have walked out of the bowling alley with $4,000 in my account because Stephon Diggs didn't get his touchdown. But prior to the game, I had seriously contemplated both Josh Allen and Kincaid for an anytime touchdown score. And I had both of them on my ticket and removed them and put Stephon Diggs because I thought that was the safe bet. But again, just going with that gut feeling. If you see the line on there and there's something telling you not to remove it, there's probably a reason for it.
It's funny you say that because we talk about that Bills game, but for me, that gut feeling when I was on the toilet, no cap, just going like this, looking at the line, it really be like that.
Definitely.
I was on the toilet and I looked and I was like, you know what? What about Josh Allen? What if he scored a touchdown? I know they like to pull, like when you do the read option, you like to pull it, right? So I was like, you know what if he scores that? What if they get on goal line, you jump up and do this, right?
Tush push.
The tush, yeah. Something told me, I was like, yo, I'm going to go with Josh Allen. And then when I looked, I saw plus 200. I'm like, yeah, this is it.
Steal.
This is a steal. Exactly, a steal. When you see a highlight or a major player at plus odds on certain lines, you gotta run with it. We got Jeff who says, "Big facts, can't agree more." TK, so that's Betmaster G right there. So you got the approval. But I think that this is also a time, since we have some people here, I think this is a good time to make some predictions, right? Okay. For this NBA season, I know we got a futures profit boost. Mm-hmm. What's something, TK, that you could give people that you would, say, what's a futures bet that you think that they should invest some money in?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is probably going to sound very biased to those that know I'm a Celtics fan, but I truly feel like this is going to be Jason Tatum's MVP season. I haven't had a chance to see much of what he's doing tonight, but I mean, 34 opening night.
In the Garden?
In the Garden, with the win too. Yeah. With the weapons that they instilled around him this offseason, I just can't help but think that he's really going to have his breakout year. And again, very biasedly, I truly think this is going to just be the Celtics year in general, led by Jason Tatum. So I think that was like plus 600 or something like that right now.
Okay, I like that. I think that's a really good line there. And I think, guys, TK is somebody that, has a lot of knowledge. I think that that's definitely a good pick. And I think that another thing that I would like to ask you as far as futures, for people that like to play that, what do you think is a good team for the NFL-wise to put as a Super Bowl champion?
Super Bowl champion. I mean, it's hard not to say the 49ers right now. They've been... a little bit. Brock Purdy's beat up right now. They lost their first game last week. But, I mean, they're still a team that has everything from the coaching staff down to the offense and defensive line, which truly, not being biased, but winning up front wins games. And they have it on both offense and defense. I mean, it's hard not to say Philly is a contender as well. Buffalo's been struggling from the AFC side, but... And you can't knock the Chiefs either. I know before the season, I was thinking the Chargers. The Chargers have kind of come out slow. But if I were to truly double down and put some money up, it would definitely be on the Niners right now.
I think, and I hate to be the cliche guy, right? But if we're talking futures, if you want to keep it safe, I would bet the Chiefs to be AFC champions. I think that, the AFC is the Chiefs to lose. How can you be on a down year and you're 5-1? That just shows the expectations that are of this team, and they're still fulfilling them. With every possible doubt, they're still going out there and finding ways to win. So, with all the hype around different AFC teams, I think that's a great pick, for them to win the AFC. I think another thing I would like to pick your brain on while we have you here is one of the hardest football games to bet on this week. Jets versus Giants.
Ooh.
What a stinker, right? What a tough game to bet.
The MetLife
toilet bowl. The toilet bowl, right? They used to call it the Snoopy Bowl. That was the toilet bowl.
Oh, Giants fans out there.
But, guys, there's still a fuck ton of value in that game. So, TK, for people that are looking at this game, what do you think is the most value between that Jets and Giants game?
Yeah, I'm going to have to probably just go with the Jets rushing game. They really don't have much going with, their quarterback. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now.
Zach.
Yeah, Zach Wilson. Yeah. But, Breece Hall back there, I feel like he's got to go for at least 75 to 80 yards this week against the Giants. I truly just don't think they have it in them to stop the run game. And the Jets, I was going to say New York, but the Jets are going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to.
And I think that another good line that people may think I'm crazy, but we talked about things happening all the time. And one of the things that we have seen is the Jets secondary has had some leaks to where quarterbacks have had some large performance days. I think if, don't say I'm crazy, but if Tyrod Taylor's out there, I would look into see what is his total yards passing line. Okay. Because, again, that Jets secondary, we got Sauce Gardner, but Sauce Gardner has proven to still be, have some weaknesses there. And we had some guys make some big games. So that's a line where somebody might be like, yo, you're crazy, bro. You're going to take Tyrod Taylor over on passing yards? I'm telling you, look it up. And if it's at -110, -113 on both sides, I promise you I'm taking that over because, again, you got to sometimes throw those plays in there that may not be sexy, but they still hit, man.
Yeah. And with that being said, one that kind of goes hand in hand with that prop is going to be Jalen Hyatt. I forget who exactly the Giants played last week. I want to say Tennessee. I forget.
The Commanders.
The Commanders. But they were, and I know Jeff and we talked about this, they were trying Jalen Hyatt on the deep ball. I think they probably had about 3 or 4 attempts, about 40 yards down the field. And if just one of those catches, he'll cover his prop. Because I'm assuming, I haven't looked at any of the lines for this weekend, but I'm assuming his line isn't any more than 30, 40 yards.
Hey, well, listen, guys. I hope you were taking down your notes because we got some, we've been giving some nuggets out there. But, I think that, above all, having you on here, TK, and hopefully giving the people some knowledge. And not just the people that are in here live, but the people that tune in after. We have a good following of people that do not listen to this show live. And I think that, for them, these people that come to me and say about what they learned from the show, I just hope that, people really took the things that we were trying to tell you and just take it seriously. And hopefully it dissuades you from thinking that sports betting is this tremendously difficult thing to do. You know what I'm saying? You should not be afraid of the lines. There's definitely good knowledge out there for you. And just don't be afraid to shoot for the moon, man. I think that, if I were to play it safe throughout these 9 days, I might not have the hot streak that I'm on right now. The guy Dort, he was plus, I think it was like 300 something to score 15 points. And I saw previously, he had multiple games over 20 points. And I remember him from last year being, in the starting lineup again. So it's like using those little things, those little hunches, can definitely propel you in the right direction, man. So once again, I want to say thank you to the locksmith for coming here on the show.
You called it too. He's basically there.
Oh, do we want to tell? Oh my goodness, we got Dort here, who's got 13 out of the 15 points in the third quarter. Please score one more bucket. And then we got Jaylen Brown for 20 points. All we need is 5 more, guys. Please. Please. Come on, man. But yeah, again, don't be afraid to go shoot for the stars, guys, because, hey, anything is possible. Before we close out, TK, aside from sports betting, is there any type of advice that you can give the people so that they can be a little bit better tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, just be real to yourself, honestly. Just when you look at yourself in the mirror, just be true to who you are. You don't have to go out and put fronts on for everybody, Just stay true to yourself and stay humble. That's my biggest advice. Always remain humble.
Facts. Hey, because if not, life will humble you, man. Hey, I've been humbled many a times, but that's why I had to slow my roll plenty of times, man. But yo, once again, guys, thank you so much to TK for coming here on the show. We got some celebrating to do.
Sir,
So,
congrats.
yeah!
Yes, sir.
Come
I never heard the term bud tender before. That's fine.
Right?
They say it's gonna be the product pushing bud tender.
Yeah, man, come on. Getting some free samples. I mean, come on, we got some work to do.
Get the pen and pad.
Right, get the pen and pad. How did that arrow pen make you feel, right? But yo, thank you again, guys. I love you all. You can always check us out at talkthattalkshow.com.
Talk that talk!
Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, you name it. We are on all streaming platforms. I love you all. Be responsible, and let's get this money.
Yes, sir.